Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Gary. Hope you've had a good week. Hope you've had a good weekend. Welcome to the Sunday Club. So yeah, it's the second Sunday Club of this first international window. So obviously last time out we discussed the Albania result. We've now obviously got the Latvia result to discuss this evening, as well as a few other things. So yeah, it's great. It's going to be a good evening. It's going to be a good evening. Plenty to discuss. Straight to the chat. Gate 102 podcast. Hope you're doing well, mate. Great podcast, by the way, recently. Everyone, go check him out. Really good stuff. So evening, Inferno, evening. Charlie, are you, mate? Good to have you with us. Sorry, I'm like swerving in and out trying to read the thing here where I don't know why. I just don't move it on my screen. So the rundown this evening, we're going to discuss that Latvia game briefly, because there's not an awful lot I don't think we can learn from it, and some people may disagree with that, but speak up in the chat if you think so. But yeah, it was it's Latvia. It's Latvia, everyone at home. So we're not going to spend hours and hours breaking it down and looking at who played well and who didn't, because it's Latvia at home. Reece James, though. Reece James we are going to discuss, and it's really, can we trust him? Can we trust him to, his injury records is just horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. So can we trust him? If Thomas Tuchel's going to be picking him in these squads and sort of building up for the World Cup, can we trust that he's going to be fit and ready for England should we need him? And then Andorra, we're going to obviously look ahead to England's next game, which is the 7th. It's Andorra, England's first away match. And we'll come on to that as well, because the fixture has changed. It's no longer taking place in Andorra. It is now taking place, I believe, in Barcelona. Not Barcelona's ground. I think it's in Espanyol's ground, I believe. Trying to cast my memory back to the announcement I saw. But potentially, though, that is a really good thing, because it means the allocation is going to be much higher. So really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. So a chance potentially for some England away tickets there for those that might not be guaranteed them. And then I think the main thing I want to talk about tonight, and you'll see from the title of this video, is I think England have got tougher games to come. And you'll see tonight's Q&A. Are people underestimating the Serbia and Albania away matches? And are we taking for granted the fact that all I've heard is England are going to qualify? England are going to qualify. And I'm not saying we're not, because we should be overwhelming favourites. But I think it's a little bit disrespectful, because I tell you what, Albania and Serbia away from home, they are going to be tough games, really tough games. And I go back to, and I've said this every single week on this channel, I think Serbia and Albania, if they were playing in almost any other confederation, I think these teams will be qualifying for the World Cup. I think Europe is that difficult. And I do believe, particularly Serbia away, but I think Serbia and Albania away are going to be really tough games. I do, honestly. And I just think we're taking it for granted that England are going to go there and get 6 points and walk this group by, 6 points, 7, 9 points clear, whatever it's going to be. I don't know. I'm just saying this. I think it's not going to be quite as cut and dry and as easy as what I think. We're all sat here thinking, look, what all we're worried about is really who's going to pick. Never mind these fixtures. But I don't know. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. Obviously, I hope I'm wrong. But I just think Serbia and Albania away are not to be taken lightly. So, and then Saka. I'm going to talk about Saka, because I think it proved from these two fixtures, even though we're against Albania and Latvia at home, we're really missing him. We are really, really missing Bukayo Saka. And potentially someone else really concrete. I mean, Gordon didn't really, he sort of missed his chance, didn't he, because of injury. Bowen didn't really shine at all, did he? He did not shine at all against Latvia at home. And it just seems like we're really missing that really outstanding winger. And Saka is that player. So I think England are tremendously missing him. So yeah, I think it's those wide areas, even from these two fixtures, it's those wide areas that are probably the biggest talking points, aren't they, coming through? So England 3, Latvia 0. I mean, I don't know if anyone went. It was one of those games where it's just, I mean, people seem relatively happy at the end of it. It's just, at the end of the day, Latvia are putting 11 men behind the ball, aren't they? Never mind 10. They are putting 11 men behind the ball. And there are always going to be those challenging nights. I mean, Reece James, first and foremost, what a free kick. I was right behind it. Right behind. Such a good view in the ground, and it was a stunning goal. And it brings us on to that second point, really. The England 3, Latvia 0, and James we trust, if you like. It all sort of ties in, because Reece James did obviously come out of that game really strongly. He had a relatively good performance, even barring the free kick. He was involved in a lot of play. He seemed a threat. He had that extra bit of quality when it was needed to break down a really stubborn defence. And I think a lot of people would argue that he's probably a starting fullback for England if he's fit, and arguably England's best fullback from a both defensive and attacking perspective if he is fit. But it's been years, hasn't it? It seems like it's been forever that Reece James has done 6 months solid on a football pitch. And this is where my concern is yes, he's chosen for this Latvia game, and obviously the history is there between Thomas Tuchel, Reece James, and this idea that Thomas Tuchel gets the best out of this player. Great, fantastic, but, he can't stay fit. He can't stay fit. So it's a bit like, does he play? I mean, obviously Ben White, when he comes back in, where does he fit in? Trent Alexander-Arnold. There was fullbacks missing. There was plenty of fullbacks missing from this squad. So does he trust him moving forward? I mean, if he stays fit, he stays fit. And that's ultimately it. But I don't know. It's just hanging your hat on Reece James going into a World Cup just seems really temperamental at the minute, because he just can't stay fit, can he? Gate 102, I think James is our best option at right back out of them all, but I think if he can stay fit for the remainder of 2025, then I can be confident. Yeah, I think that's the thing, because we're now in March, so let's take it as a calendar year. Absolutely agree, Gate 102. If he can stay fit for this calendar year, so you're looking 8-9 months, then okay, then he's maybe turned the corner and he can stay fit, and let's pick him, and let's see if he picks him in these next international breaks and windows and stuff like that. And is he playing regular for his club and all those sorts of things? And if all those are yeses, then great. No one's going to be moaning, really, are they, if he's played regular football for 8 months going into that summer. But if we get towards the end of this year, particularly those November fixtures, and it's been a bit of a Reece James season again, where he's been out of the team 1 minute, in the team another, he's had a month off here, or 3 weeks not playing because he's not quite fit, and it's all a bit like one of those seasons for him where he's never really getting those minutes behind him, whether he stayed fully fit or not. We shouldn't pick him. We shouldn't pick him if that's the case. It needs to be a solid, consistent run of performances, and staying fit and staying match fit is the key as well. Because ultimately, at a World Cup, the more intense at these tournaments, you don't play a huge amount of games, but you play a lot of games within a short space of time. So you can't be taking risks on injury-prone players, particularly in key areas of the pitch, where potentially, if you're looking at Ben White, whatever you think about Ben White, but Trent Alexander-Arnold and whoever, you could potentially be leaving a really good fullback at home to accommodate him. So he's got to be fit. He has got to be fit. Darius, hi. I did sort of French film Mr. Aznavour today in cinemas. Okay, what's that? Is it England related? Let us know. Let us know. Ollie, as much as I'd like Tuchel, I don't mind if he plays boring, but considering he gave it the whole Southgate was too scared gimmick, England looked even more passive than on Southgate, which says a lot. The problem was, Ollie, and this is the thing, they were trying, and clearly the idea is wants England to play far further up the pitch, and there was a clear drop. It's a back three. It's a back three when we have the ball, and there's almost like Rice is left on his own, and then there's like 2 number 10s. So it's definitely more offensive. He's come out and consistently asked after both of those games, and I think this is why Rashford in particular kept his place. He wants the wingers to try things and to try and attack and try and take players on, and I think Rashford was trying to do that, but it was difficult where he had 2 on them, 3 players on him at the whole time, 11 men behind the ball. But I think you can clearly see the intent of what Thomas Tuchel was trying to do, and it was definitely much more offensive than Gareth Southgate, in my opinion, putting the playing higher up the pitch and asking wingers to do a lot more together. It was just that final ball, wasn't it? And maybe moving the ball a little bit quicker. He criticised the England team quite conclusively after that Albania game, saying they're not doing enough. It's too many back passes. So I think the intent's there. It's just going to take a while. And it's hard, isn't it, to motivate these players to really try and, go for it against the Latvia team, who ultimately, our fans and players and everyone believes that we're going to break down in the end. So why try and risk an injury or break a gut, or do you know what I mean? I think that's probably where he was struggling a little bit too, to try and get the players to do it consistently. I think he had 45 minutes of it, like the first 45 minutes against Albania, really strong, a few minutes against Latvia, but then I think the players just sort of took it upon themselves to take the foot off the gas, and he's wanting that consistency and drive a little bit more, isn't he? Darius is saying it'll be 4-0 to England on the June the 7th, my birthday. I think the Andorra away games it should be a comfortable win, shouldn't it? Particularly if we're playing in a bigger stadium, potentially on a bigger pitch. I think that's not going to do Andorra any favours at all. So, yeah, I have no worries about this upcoming Andorra match on the 7th of June, I believe. But I can't see that being a difficulty for England. Charlie, it's a hard one to call with James, as we just don't have the tough enough games to truly see how well he works in the England team. No, and that's the problem, and I think that's the problem I've been calling out since Tuchel was put in charge, and this goes back to, and I was so pissed off at the time, and I'm even more pissed off now. This goes back to that horrendous UEFA Nations League campaign that we had a few years back when Hungary put 4 passes at Wolves and the players could not be bloody arsed, let's be honest, at the end of the season, and we got relegated and they just didn't turn up, and that's cost us now, because we should have been playing in these quarterfinals of the Nations League, in those tough games, playing tough opposition, and we've missed out on that. We've missed out on that because of that campaign 2 years ago. We're in League A now, but he's going to play no one. I mean, I've said no one. I'm contradicting myself a little bit here, particularly in the rundown, because you'll see, I think Serbia and Albania away from home are going to be tough tests. I do think that. Not the elite tests, but certainly tough tests. And I think that'll be a good indicator for Tuchel. But they're the only ones. They're literally the only ones we've got. TTM, of course, England will qualify. Reality is we've not lost a home qualifier for nearly 10 years. Now, look, I've got no doubt about home qualifier. I'm talking mainly about this Serbia, particularly Serbia away and Albania away games. I just feel like, I'm not saying England aren't going to win them. I just feel like we're taking them for granted a little bit, that there's going to be easy victories there, and I just don't buy it. I think both of these teams are better than what we're giving them credit for. For those that weren't listening at the start, what I was saying, I think if Andorra and Albania and certainly Serbia were in a different qualification area in the world, I think they would be pushing for qualification. I think because Europe is the most difficult to qualify for the World Cup, you have to top your group. I just feel like, these teams are tougher than what we're giving them credit for. I'm not saying England won't win, but I just think we just need to just err on the side of caution. Gate 102, he clearly wants his wingers to be direct and run at defence. That's why I think Foden might struggle there unless you work around him. I think it's clear. I mean, on the second game, he swapped Bellingham on, and when he brought him on, he wanted to play much more centrally, didn't he? And I think everyone's come to the terms now, and I think Tuchel has very quickly, and fans have, and perhaps Foden himself, that he does have to play through the middle. And if that is the case, then he doesn't start, does he? He doesn't start games because there's nowhere for him to go. He's not going to get in above Jude Bellingham. And can you play them next to each other? I'm not certain you can. So he doesn't start. MK816, around this time last year, we had friendly games against bigger teams, Brazil, Belgium. We know what Tuchel can do until we have games like that. Oh, I get what you're trying to say. Yeah, so we won't know what Tuchel can do unless we have... Yeah, exactly. England should easily beat Andorra, says Riddell. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I mean, it should be... Yeah, it should be a comfortable win. Just saying to those that are joining us, it has been moved. So if you do fancy going to an England away game, you might have a chance at a ballot on that, because I believe it's been moved to Espanyol in Barcelona. So potentially a lot more tickets for England fans. So yeah, could be another option for some people to get to an away fixture there. Quite like Dan Byrne, says Ollie, but showed he's not good enough at the highest level. Moves like he's in quicksand. If you want a set piece outlet, Maguire is there and also better at football. Ollie, I would agree, And I believe the two chances Albania had and arguably could have equalised were both from Dan Byrne's lack of pace. And I'm not saying I don't like him. I think he's got a place in the squad. When you need a goal, potentially as a defender, when you throw caution to the wind, if you want to bring a defender on but then also have an aerial threat, You know, him and Maguire from set pieces. He showed his threat from set pieces. He's certainly got a place. I wouldn't be comfortable with him starting, particularly against anyone with any sort of pace. Josh Phillips, hi mate. Thank you for joining. Hope you've had a good week, mate, and a good weekend. Glorious weather in England, by the way. Anyone who's not here from England, what a fan. The summer is here. British, can't say that. British summertime starts today, and it's been glorious. So what you're saying is if England lose, blame Southgate again. Well, I'm just saying, it's certainly... I knew at the time, I think what I'm saying, Robert, is at the time people weren't arsed. People were a lot of England fans weren't bothered that we went down to League B in the Nations League. And I kept saying, you know, not only is it a potential trophy that England can win, the first in 60-odd bloody years, but these matter. We need to be playing the biggest teams more regular. And I knew this would have a knock-on effect. Gate 102, Serbia made it really difficult for us at Euro 2024, so it'll be tough, especially away from home. Look, I'm telling you, it will be a tough game. No guaranteed victory there. We're at least guaranteed another 6 points against Andorra. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And well, let's put 9 in there. I think we'd beat Latvia away from home, wouldn't we? You'd expect. And I'm not saying we wouldn't be heavy favourites against Albania and Serbia away from home, but... They're not as easy as what people are making out. Genuinely, they're not. Like, for example, I think they'd beat Canada, Mexico. No, they'd give US a game. I think they'd give all those sorts of teams that are going to be hosting and qualifying for the tournament comfortable. I mean, you go to South American qualification and basically everyone but the dog and duck can qualify now because of the amount of teams. I think it's only the bottom 3 that don't go through. It's ridiculous. To qualify in Europe is much tougher, and I just think these teams get underestimated. But look, Serbia would give anyone a game. I'm just saying, I'm not sat here thinking we're going to go to Serbia and easily get a win. And I also think Serbia could push us for that first place. I really do. Well, Robert, yeah, Harry Kane has the golden boot, but Harry Maguire has the golden head. Euroball, hi Gary, it's Jack from the Green Man. Saw you put the selfie up on the stream, but wasn't able to catch it live a few months away. But anyway, who do you want to see called up in the next break? Hi mate, good for you to join us. Who do I want called up? I think you've got to be looking at a lot of those players that have been out, haven't you? I mean, hopefully Saka's fit. Back in, he's the number one, isn't he? Straight back in. You're then probably looking at the defenders as well. It's difficult to think who else can come in. Depends who's fit, but you're looking at John Stones or Harry Maguire, ideally both coming back in for that experience, and I think he will pick them. Midfield's an issue because I think there's a lot of central midfielders there that people would like to see. However, the next one will be right before or during, I can't remember the exact dates in my head, but I think people are going to be very disappointed in this June call-up because he's not going to be calling up your Adam Whartons and stuff like that on the eve of England potentially defending their under-21 title at the Euros. So there's not going to be the under-21s in this next squad at all. They're all going to be going on the tournament squad. So who else is he bringing to that central midfield area? I mean, Gomez obviously has had a call-up before, Gallagher. I mean, will he call Henderson up again? It's just that central midfield area, I think, in particular. I think Madueke as well, and I think Madueke deserves a shout-out because under Lee Carsley, he was probably one of our best players. Really was one of our best players. And, yeah, Palmer, obviously, you'd like to see come back in. Trent. You know, there's a lot of players that we're missing in this last squad. I'd like to see him not pick 4 goalkeepers, particularly for those players that I've mentioned start to get, fit again and back in contention. I don't really want to be seeing 4 England goalkeepers. He's seen them now. Let's see who his 3 are and go from there. But there's a lot to come back in. And I think that's where we're probably hopeful in terms of how strong this England squad is. I mean, the other thing is strikers, isn't it? Ollie Watkins, he was missing from the last squad. He come back in. After Harry Kane, it's difficult, isn't it? Wharton looked class against Fulham and has been since coming back from injury. I don't mind him picking Henderson as long as Wharton also gets in. Mate, he won't get in the June squad. He'll be in the 21s. Adam Wharton will be 100%, I believe, in the England under-21 squad in June, not in the senior. Because all eyes are on this tournament in the summer. So I hear you, and I think a lot of but I'm telling you now, everyone's going to be disappointed when those under 21 players will not be in the senior England squad. I'm certain of it. And I think this squad, the latest squad, showed that even for friendlies, they absolutely stacked that under 21 squad, knowing this is Lee Carsey's last opportunity to get them together, really before the tournament. And I think they're going to try and pick that exact same squad again for the tournament. I mean, talking about the under 21s, fantastic going forward, but Jesus Christ, they're about as leaky as a prawn cracker, aren't they? With bloody vinegar all over it. Honestly, pissing goals. Kane shouldn't start in the Andorra games. We need to see what others can do, like Solanke. Yeah, I mean, Solanke's one player who a lot of people were disappointed didn't get a shout out. I think those strikers as well. He's yeah, Watkins, Solanke, one of those two surely's got to get a call up, hasn't they? Surely. I mean, Lewis Skelly's the left back's his, isn't it? The left back post is his. It's such a shame Hall got injured because I think all of a sudden now it'd be between them two. Out of interest, where did you see the Andorra away game? Is in Barcelona now. Can't see anything on it. I don't know. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere. I'm not making it up, but I'm certain I've seen it. Let me have a look. Unless it's a rumour, but there's usually no smoke without fire at all. Unless I am making it up. Heard rumours of it, but can't remember the source of Euro Ball. It'll be true. I'll tell you now, it's becoming true. I think it might have been a rumours page, but if it's even on the rumours thing, and if I've seen it go round, I guarantee you now it'll happen. They'll move it. I think to be honest with you, it's not. I don't think it's that uncommon for Andorra to do it, and given the fact that England will want a big allocation and the potentially, option of selling a lot of tickets, I think it would make sense. I'm sure they've done it before. Yeah, there's a few. I've just googled it, and there's a few rumours. I think at the minute it's only rumours, but I think it's likely to happen. Watch this space. Maybe I'm bringing breaking news. I swear I've only got the sources of anybody else. I promise. But yeah, I think it will be there. Apparently, Villa Park going to host one of our next qualifiers. They're making me grind for these Euro 2028 caps. I mean, I hope it is. I think more games away from Wembley, and not just because I'm Northern, but genuinely, I think it's great, particularly for World Cup. Let's get it round the country, give other people the chance to see. We were talking about this actually in the Green Man beforehand, and I think Liverpool will get a game there soon. Maybe not, certainly not over this next year, not before the World Cup, but I think in the next round, when Everton's ground's built, past and all that, I think we'll definitely end up back there. England haven't played in Liverpool, I think, in over 20 years now, so I think we'll definitely end up back there. 100%. But what did we think about? I mean, first off, let's go back to the question. What do people think? Are we underestimating Serbia and Albania? Am I being a bit too pessimistic? Is everyone thinking now this is piss easy? We're there. Is everyone just disagreeing with it? Do we think we are there? Am I putting the brakes on when I don't need to? Or anyone thinking anyone thinking I've got a point? I got tickets for the Senegal game. First time using the ticket system myself, and that was a stressful. Oh, mate, it's a joke. Absolute joke. I mean, I don't. My mate Russell usually gets mine with my fan number and stuff, but yeah, the few times I've done it, it's just outrageous. I think I'm pretty certain that game's going to sell out before it goes on general sale. City Ground represent. I mean, I can't wait for the City Ground one. It's going to be just so much better for me to go to a game. Hi mate, been a while, watched your video on the three host nations and that you'd prefer we played our game in Mexico due to the atmosphere. Do you not think the cooler climate of Canada would suit us? Look, I'm not going on about in terms of what would suit the England players on that video. If anyone's watched it, I just think, personally, I feel like watching England in Mexico would just be a different gravy compared to Canada and the US. I think Canada and US would be great hosts. I think Mexico, though, is that true pedigree footballing nation. I think the fans will be unreal. I think the host cities would be better in terms of the culture and the atmosphere. I just think Mexico's going to do it better. I do. I just think Mexico's going to do it better, and I'd love it if England played in Mexico. Not against Mexico. Don't want to play them. I think that'll be a very hostile atmosphere. But I think an England game in Mexico just feels... I just think that sounds really tasty. Really tasty. More so than a bit more of a corporate Canada-America game. I think we might get humbled by Serbia or Albania away. Then hopefully we'll actually pick friendly opponents that will test us. And Ollie, you agreeing with them, mate? I just think, look, they could specifically cause us an upset, those two nations, and they are going to be tough. And I just feel like a lot of people have taken them for granted already, that we're just going to go there and it's going to be a 3-0, 4-0, 2-0, whatever. We're going to win, and England are going to be 6-7 points clear at the top of this group coming into the qualification campaign. It's been an absolute breeze. I just don't see that. Serbia, I mean, Albania for them is a different game. I'll give you that. And that's probably what's going to really go into England's favour here, because I don't think either Serbia or Albania will take 6 points from each other. I think both of them will drop points to each other. I think it's going to be very tough for them. And I think ultimately that will make it relatively simple for us anyway. But I think both of those two teams away from home are going to be tough. I just think historically we have struggled to play well in hotter climates. No, absolutely. Absolutely, mate. Completely agree. Completely agree. I just want to see England play Mexico. That's it. That's it. I just think it will be class. I just think they would be much better hosts. But yeah, maybe in terms of for the players' benefit, Canada may be a better place for us. I mean, I've no idea. Depending on what's in. I mean, the country's absolutely massive, isn't it? I've no idea what the temperatures would be in Canada at that time of the year, but I'm assuming obviously they'd be a lot cooler. I'd like to play in the US because we're able to demonstrate to them how sports fans are meant to experience games. Mate, the problem is, and I know I'm going to go on about this for ages, and I haven't really got anything against Americans, but I just think the fans are going to be insufferable, mate. Honestly, insufferable. And I just think we just need to get it out of the way, and they keep pushing it. I mean, the fact that the US have had how many World Cups now and England haven't had one since '66, and it's just... I don't know. I mean, I'm already dreading those I believe that we can win chants and all that lot, and it's just... Honestly, I've got an headache just thinking about it, but I get what you mean. Look, and America will be great hosts, and I think all of them will be great hosts. I just think Mexico is a proper footballing nation. Do you think there will be a lot of empty stadiums in the games played in America, particularly when it's two smaller teams? No, I think it'll be full, mate. I think it'll be full. I think fans of other nations, just fill them out. They'll apply for tickets, and I think they'll be full. I do, honestly. And I mean, those attendances in the US games against Canada and in Panama in the Nations League, and I know people are saying it was this time of the day, and you know it was also a traditional sporting weekend with other people. There's no excuse for that little amount of people to turn up. I can't think of any situation at all, no matter what date, time of the year, anything where there would be that few amount of people turn up to an England senior game ever, anywhere. Particularly against one of their biggest rivals. So, look, America isn't a footballing nation. It's as simple as that. Or certain areas of America certainly aren't a footballing nation. It's just as simple as that. But the World Cup, the Americans will get behind it. They love a spectacle and all that lot. They'll pay money for it, even if they're not bothered. There'll be plenty of people there. There'll be loads of people travelling. I think every game will be full. I really do. Because there will be. I think you could host it almost anywhere and games will be full. I mean, Qatar wasn't it? People find a way, and I think across the world now there's much more people from more nations who've got more money to go and see the teams, and I think other people from other countries will go and watch games anyway. So I've got no concerns that any of the stadiums will be empty during the World Cup. I would like to see England play friendly match against Argentina, see if they can improve. That'd be class. Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? Honestly, why not? We'd have to play it in a neutral venue, though. I think like we did last time we played him. But you're right. What a joke that America has now had more World Cups than we have. But mate, they'll have another one probably before we host it, because it will end up back in that continent, because they're another 20 years it'll be back there again. It will be 20, 30 years it'll be back there again. And just keep adding another 20, 30 years back in America, another 20, 30 years back in America, so on, so on, so on. It'll just keep happening until they break it. And even then, when they break it, it'll be back there even often. They'll just always have it, mate, because it's money. They want to break the market. They insist on moving it around the world, and then when you go to that part of the world, I mean, there's only really America anyway, isn't there, that going to host it? Maybe America, Canada, and Mexico are going to be more regular hosts in terms of jointly. I don't know, but they'll have it. They'll have it again pretty soon. I mean, the one after that is Saudi, isn't it? I'm sure it's going to be Saudi. But I think, look, I just England will top this group. That's what I am saying. I need to make that clear. I am saying, I'm sitting here now saying I think England should and will top this group. What I've been saying, though, is Serbia and Albania away will not surprise me if one of them either beat us, because England certainly do have a bad game in them, or we draw one of them or two of them. And I just don't think we're going to top this group by 6 points, 9 points, or like that. Honestly, I can't see it. I don't think we're winning every game. At least we'll probably dodge the hosts in the groups, as I imagine would be one of the top seeds. Yeah, and I think that's going to be, and I think that's key. At the end of the day, though, I think England are better than Canada, Mexico, US. Obviously, I think they are. No matter what the US fans think and all this crap that you always hear about, England have never beaten them a competitive game and blah blah blah. England are a better team than America, but I just think any of those host nations, you don't want an host nation. You don't. It just overcomplicates your tournament. There's a lot of noise. You don't want to be playing the first game and all that lot. You don't want it. So you want to avoid the home nations, and hopefully with the seeding, we'll avoid all three of them. Gate 1 or 2 wouldn't surprise me if one ends in a draw. Yeah, exactly, mate. Wouldn't surprise me neither. Who is in ideal World Cup group for England? If once we, I don't know, because there's that many bloody caveats now. There's that many teams and that many. I think there's only 2 teams, or there's only a small group of teams. I think it's too early yet, Robert. Potentially to start looking at who our ideal group is. I mean, I've seen some people put it down, but there's that many bloody caveats and groups. Who knows? I mean, let's be honest. It's pretty hard now, and I'm saying this. I am saying this a long time before the World Cup, and this may get cropped and captured and put back on my channel and come back to haunt me. But I think I'm going to hang my hat on the line here and say it's very difficult now to get grouped at a World Cup. Because I've got a feeling the way it's going to work is almost the top 3 that go through from groups now and stuff like that. So, yeah, look, the group shouldn't be a problem. I've said it. The group, whoever we get in the group stage shouldn't be a problem. Stephen Winston, you put something on twice and taken them off, so please comment again. Let me know. I'm not sure I've seen you on the channel before. Welcome. Please feel free to post what you like as long as it's nice. Kurt Varlow, no, 2030 is Spain, Morocco, Argentina, Portugal, Uruguay, and Paraguay. Okay, problem is we always bottle it against US. Worried they knock us out if we meet. I know. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't bear it. If the Americans knock us out on the knockout rounds, I don't think I could live with that. I genuinely don't think I could live with that. True, difficult to get grouped from Euros too, given the best placed third situation. World Cup groups are easier with some of the poor teams that qualify. Exactly. So I just can't see England struggling to get, whoever we get, I can't see England struggling to get through the group. I really can't. And we've said this before. We've had this debate on this channel before. What's harder, the World Cup or the Euros? I would argue every game in the Euros, on average, is harder than every game in the World Cup. But it's whether, are the semi-finals and quarterfinals in the World Cup potentially harder than the Euros? I don't know. But I think, on average, each game at the Euros is a higher quality than at the World Cup. I think you've got to get through that chaff in the group stages, haven't you? Can't see us getting grouped, but with Tuchel, I think we'll either win the whole thing or crash out embarrassingly in the first knockout round. No in between. Bloody hell. Look, I think we'll have a pretty good idea about how well Tuchel's doing with the England squad, despite us not playing anyone significantly strong or anything like that. I think those Serbia and Albania away games will be good tests, and I think it will show how disciplined we are. What sort of I think we'll have a good idea whether we're going to crash and burn or not. I hope. For the World Cup, is it 12 groups of 4 or 16 groups of 3? Yeah, it's 12 groups of 4. I think they'll always stick with the 4. It is going to be very difficult to get grouped, and I'm saying that very self-aware that this could really jinx us and put us. I don't believe in jinxing, actually. Forget that. But you know what I'm saying. This could seriously bite me in the arse saying this on a live stream. But we won't. We won't get grouped. England will qualify for the World Cup. We won't get grouped. That's it. Good night. No, I'm joking. But I just think what I'm getting at is some tougher tests are. So I think, people are saying we're not playing anyone. I just think if Tuchel's in a no-win situation, because if we beat Serbia and Albania away from home, everyone's just going to be like, you know what, we should have done it. No one's going to batter an eyelid. England should be beating those games away from home. But I just don't agree with it. I think if Tuchel in this group phase, in this qualification campaign, gets us through those 2 games comfortably with good wins, I think it's a good sign of things to come. Solomon, who would be a perfect friendly to organise, say 4 months before the World Cup? Not sure when there's a gap in schedule, but hypothetical. Why not one of the home nations, Solomon? Because I think they'll be up for it. So maybe a US, the strongest home nation. Let's play them. I think they would give us a good game and give us a good judge in terms of one of those middle teams that could cause an upset. And then maybe a top European nation who were not likely to get, a Germany or someone who were not likely to get in the group stages because of seedings and things like that. Or maybe another tough South American team. I mean, it's worth saying that Brazil obviously beat us last year 1-0, and really should have beat us by more. They've now sacked their manager because of the loss against Argentina. So that manager, when Brazil beat us at Wembley last year, that was his first game in charge of Brazil, a 1-0 win against England away from home, and they've now sacked him because of the 4-1 4-0 or whatever it was, 4-1 loss against Argentina. So, a lot can change. Got to leave early tonight, unfortunately. Great show. No worries, mate. Have a good week. Who do you think will win the World Cup? I think at the minute, Brazil... No, not Brazil. Forget that. I think at the minute France, Spain and Argentina are all above England. I'm not going to pick a favourite, but I think those 3 are all above England at the minute. So yeah, maybe one of those 3. Leo Tran, will there be 2 international friendly matches before the World Cup starts? If so, England definitely needs to face 2 top tier teams in those friendlies, maybe an Argentina or Spain. Potentially. Stephen, sorry, I sent too quickly, joined late, so may have mentioned it, but if no Amazon Prime has a new program called The New Generation, looks good about the new players, Palmer. Oh, I'll have to have a watch of that then. I've missed that, so definitely have a look at that, Stephen. Thank you for letting us know. One for everyone there to go and have a look at. Robert Beveridge, Argentina still scary looking after making Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo and the rest of Brazil look amateur. Sorry if there's double post. No. You're absolutely right, mate. One of the hosts would be good, and I'd say someone like Germany, as CV-wise, they probably have the second best manager in international football, second to Tuchel. Yeah, if you're going off CV, like you said, yeah, I'd agree with that. I do, genuinely, I do put France, Spain and Argentina above England at the minute. I really do. I mean, this goes back to, England always being criticised. That Netherlands team that England beat in that semi-final at the Euros, a bloody good team. And everyone's saying how shit we were at the Euros, including me, saying we stunk the place out. But I think it shows England quality because that Netherlands team is a bloody strong team. Did Thomas Tuchel attend any FA Cup games this weekend, or is he out of country at the moment? I've no idea, actually, mate. I've been out enjoying the sun, if I'm honest with you. I have caught some games, but I've no idea. Not caught up. Dark horses for next World Cup. I say USA, Switzerland, Canada. I don't think USA or Canada will do anything. I think both of those nations, USA, Canada, and Mexico. I think if they're anywhere else qualified, I think they struggle to get to the World Cup. Genuinely, I think they're the poorest. The poorest group of teams anywhere in the world, I think. Really, I do. But home advantage is home advantage, I suppose. I don't know. Imagine an England versus USA World Cup fight. No, forget that. Bloody hell. I mean, I'd fancy us then. Definitely fancy us, but I can't see that happening. I think, look, the US, I'm not saying they've got a good squad. They have got a good squad. I don't think they've got a good squad as what the Americans think they've got. I really don't. I mean, yes, they have got players playing in Europe, but not many are truly setting Europe alight, are there? By far, their best player is Pulisic, in terms of well-known as well, and he's playing well for Milan, but there are other players sort of in and out of starting 11s, not really cementing themselves as true, top players. And I think the thing is about the US is they're struggling to play as a team, and I think the pressure will get to them. I tell you now, because those US fans at the minute and the US media, I tell you what, they think they can really do something. They're looking at that squad and thinking it's a potential world beater. I promise you, they're massively overestimating themselves. And I'm not saying they're not a good team, but the US genuinely believe that they should be giving everyone a game. And at the minute, I think that's just too much pressure, too much expectation on an average team, really, in terms of how they perform together. They've got a good manager, but at the minute, it's not working. It's not working. But if they find that flow, the US could be a challenge. Then again, if you look at Argentina's team without Messi, it looks pretty meh. I'd say England are better, but they still smashed Brazil, so it just shows how good they work as a team. What would be the highest headline for upcoming World Cup final? England versus Germany, Tuchel versus Hansi Flick would be huge. I don't know. I mean, because obviously it's in the Americas, anything, and Brazil-Argentina final would be huge, obviously, over there. Mexico doing anything in a quarter. I mean, Mexican fans will just absolutely invade every game they're playing in, whether it's in the US, Mexico, or Canada. They'll absolutely be there in hundreds of thousands. I mean, England, Germany, not only because of the history, but Tuchel as well. England, Argentina, from an England perspective, they'd be huge games. I mean, there's loads of games, isn't there, that you'd put there as massive, massive finals. I mean, with it being a 48-team World Cup, is there more likely to be finally a proper dark horse that comes through? Do you think the World Cup curse might return and the defending champs go out in the group stage? Well, potentially. No, I don't think they'll go out in the groups, PJ. I think we were saying earlier, I think it's almost impossible now to get grouped at a World Cup because of the stupid expansion of it, 48 teams. So I can't see any. Genuinely, I can't see any top team getting grouped. I mean, they're going to have to really have a stinker to get grouped, but maybe some go out in the early knockout rounds. Flick got sacked a while back. Nagelsmann is German manager now. I think the thing is England Germany is a massive final, isn't it? It is a massive final. I'm trying to think as an England fan, what would also be another big final for me if it wasn't England, like in terms of a big rivalry. I think the Netherlands-Germany is huge. Brazil-Argentina would be huge. What else? I mean, Mexico-US or something like that would be huge, or Canada-Mexico would be huge, but they're not going to happen. It's not going to happen as a final, so we can forget that. Netherlands, Argentina, yeah, maybe that would be a good one. But there's not a huge amount that jumps to mind that are likely to be realistic. Anyway, France, Italy, yeah. I'd call that. I mean, Italy are a strong team. They're playing well. They gave Germany a really good game. Spain, Portugal maybe would be a big one as well. So yeah, there are some big games out there. I mean, it's hard for us, isn't it, to answer as England fans what's the biggest international fixture in terms of a rivalry, because obviously we're going to look at England, Argentina, or England, Germany. For me, I personally, genuinely now, for me as an England fan, I put Argentina as our biggest rivals. I honestly do, because of recent history. I think the clash between European and South American football in particular, just for me, I think maybe my generation in terms of what I grew up with, and I don't know why I put it above England, Germany. I just do. But for me, I just think losing to Argentina would hurt much more than losing against Germany for me, because I think the Argentinians will be awful in victory. They're not gracious victors, or I think South Americans are just, I just don't like South American fans. I think they're animals. Genuinely, I think they'd riot. I think they'd cheat their way to anything, and I just think they wouldn't be very nice. Agreed, Portugal hurt as well. I mean, I'd hate to see us go out against Portugal again, I'd love to see England play Portugal recently. I mean, I'd love it if in the Nations League or something like that coming up, we'd get Portugal. I'd want us to see us play Portugal. I'd say England versus Argentina is above England. Germany is Argentina hate us more. Yeah, I think that's probably it. I think how much they hate us is probably it as well. And that's probably why I put Scotland above England, Germany as well, because I know how much the Scottish would love to beat us. I don't think for Germany, Germany is a big fixture, but I think it's bigger for England fans, and I don't think there's many fixtures out there that are like that. I think Germany's biggest rivalry is the Dutch, isn't it? But yeah, I think you're on the ball there, Euroball. I think it's because of how their fans are that I put it above, and I think Argentina and Scotland in particular are two teams that I think would be awful if they beat us. So they're the two nations I put as bigger rivalries for us, really. Because I think rivalry works both ways, doesn't it? And I'm not saying, again, Germany don't see us as a big rivalry and a big competitor, but I think the English just love getting one over Germany more than what they love getting one over us, if I'm honest with you. But I don't think that's the case with Argentina and Scotland. So yeah, I'd agree there. I'd put them two as above us. I mean, look, England shouldn't fear anybody, and this goes back to the problem too, and we've all mentioned it, is we're not playing anybody, are we? How well are this team going to be gelled and capable of winning those big games? Have you heard the rumours that England's going to have a tournament with Ghana, Jamaica and Nigeria this June? I've not heard that, mate. I can't see that happening. There's no way that'll be happening. It'd have been announced by now. No way is that happening. I mean, if it does, I'll be absolutely gobsmacked. Given fixtures and all that, I can't see where that's happening in the calendar. Unless it's I can't see where that's happening. So yeah, I mean, great if it does. You know me, more international football the better. I just can't see that happening. If Germany beat us, we won't know anything about it and can go on with our lives. Argentina wants don't going on, and Scotland will make it a national holiday. Yeah, exactly. And I just think for me, I'd hate. I think I look at a rivalry thinking, who would I hate to lose to the most? And I'm not saying I wouldn't hate to lose against Germany. Obviously, I would. I genuinely, I would hate to lose against Argentina way more, and Scotland way more. And yeah, and I think that's where I pip them above, definitely. So look, I mean, in terms of these two games, the the Latvia and Albania games, we've come away from these two games, and I think we've got a better idea in terms of the way Tuchel wants to play, the wingers, those back three when we've got the ball, two number 10s, one holding midfielder. I think we've definitely seen that intention and what he sees has been potentially the problem with England in the past. So I think we've got that clarity, and I think going into this international break, that was what I wanted to see the most and what I was excited to see the most, because no one realistically said that we were going to struggle in these two games, but it was about how Tuchel was going to set up, what he was going to do with these players. Granted, he's not had the full England squad available to him, but we can see his intent, we can see the way he's going to want to play, and ultimately that's all we can take from it. That is all we can take from it, and I think now then, that Serbia and Albania game away from home, when he knows it's going to be a little bit more difficult, will he continue to ask the same of the wingers in tighter games? Will he sit deeper? Look, Serbia and Albania away would be the ideal games where Gareth Southgate in the past would have gone defensive first and foremost. Will Tuchel do that? I don't know. Is the answer? I think he's going to ask exactly the same. I think he's going to want us to be much more offensive. You know, Germany have not got out of the group since winning it. Well, they definitely will do this time, mate. Honestly, as long as they're qualifying, I think they will. But trust me, it is going to be so difficult to get grouped at this World Cup. If you're an half-decent team, I think basically you win one game, you're through. I think that is almost how it's going to be at the group stages. You win one game, and the likelihood is that every single probably European nation will have a weaker team in their group because of the other qualifying teams. There's going to be a lot of shit. There's going to be a lot of shit that really shouldn't be at a World Cup in a lot of the groups to make up the numbers, to make up this 48. So win one game, you're basically through. I genuinely believe it. So it's going to be really hard for even anyone to get group now. And that's sometimes interesting because I suppose you can relax a little bit at the group stage. It means you're not seeing teams go out too early. I'm just worried we're going to end up seeing 6-7-0s. And you don't really want... I mean, yes, you get to see some other fans at a World Cup. You might see the odd surprise result, but it's supposed to be a World Cup, isn't it? It's supposed to be the cream of the crop. I mean, in 10 years, no one will be battering an eyelid, and then next minute they'll be talking about a 50-odd World Cup or whatever, but I don't know. I think I don't think anyone's going to have to worry about getting grouped as long as you're any sort of seeded team. Surely it'd be better to go up to 64 teams instead of 48, as 3 teams getting out of the group is just a bit meh. Well, I think that'll be the argument again, but it works in FIFA's favour now, doesn't it, Ollie? Because when they do come to expanding it, that'll be the reason to do it, won't it? Because all FIFA want is more games because it's more money. It's as simple as that. So it works massively in FIFA's way now for the group stages almost not to work that well. Because they can then turn around and say, you know what, let's put it back, let's put it up again, so we even it out. So I'm very cynical tonight, but I think most of you would agree that's probably the way the FIFA think. 64 teams, Cambodia versus Mozambique, we will be there. Yeah, so crazy you can get through on 2 draws. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's going to be... So... Yeah, even Germany, Argentina, all those sorts of things are going to go because they're going to get through. You know, you beat them now in your group, you've done it, you're through. But I suppose what is going to be the carrot for people to do well and finish higher is potentially you're going to play in the next round, isn't it? Which is should likely be the case. You know, you would ideally think you're going to get an easier run if you finish top of your group. Obviously, it doesn't always work out that way though. But yeah, being grouped, and I suppose it does make me feel a little bit better going into this World Cup as long as we qualify. I feel like, okay, then we're going to get to see England another knockout game, and that's where it matters, but I don't know. One of them, isn't it? One of them. So, Andorra, 7th. Look out for the game being changed. I think there's potential for some people to, hopefully get to an away game because the allocation is going to be much bigger. With the FA and the Andorran national football team hopefully moving it to Barcelona. So yeah, that'll be really good because and that would make sense for England because I mean it's almost a bit of a closed shop now, the cap system, and I never complain about the cap system, but it is almost a closed shop now. I've not missed an England home game. Coming up, I think I've missed one. I'm coming up to 3 years now, 2nd or 3rd year now. Not missed an England. I've missed one England home game, and I'm still not guaranteed an away ticket. So it is a bit of a closed shop. So games like this, we need more games in bigger stadiums away from home. Evening, Gary. I hope you're well, mate. I'm just gutted. We missed out on the FA Cup semi-final. Oh, mate. I thought you were going to do it. Genuinely thought you were going to do it as well when you took the lead. I think I'm on, with the ones, I think I'm on 34, 30, 34, something like that. Around about there. I don't think all my caps have been added on though yet. Well, they certainly won't have been from the latest 2 games neither, so... Yeah, but given the allocation of what these... I mean, this is what I mean. If it was bigger allocations, if it was grounds of, I don't know, 5 to 10,000 allocation, I probably would be guaranteed a ticket. But unless they move like Latvia and Andorra and all these places, and even Albania to an aspect, and you know, you're not going to get a ticket because the allocation is going to be like 1,000 or something. Yeah, I think I'm on about 34, mate. I think. I can't be asked to check on now, but I think but then it might be higher if that's not including the caps that are on in the minute. So yeah, it's yeah, I think hopefully, Ollie, and that's the thing. The tournament, certainly in America, Jesus, with the size of the stadiums, and that's the one benefit of them being hosted there. 34 should... I mean, obviously, by the time it comes around, I'll be on 40 plus, so there's no doubt I should be guaranteed tickets to the World Cup. You bloody think, anyway. I think I've got no worries about that. No worries about that at all. Hi, Captain Falcon. Just coming towards the end of the stream, mate. Welcome, though. Good for you to join us. You had a good weekend. But it does take a long time to build these caps up, and I think that's been... It's a bit of an eye-opener. I mean, the England Travel Club, I mean, I think they should shut the England Travel Supporters Club now because it's that many in it. But I think people are joining up thinking, if I join up now, go to a couple of games, I've been in it a number of years and I'll be guaranteed tickets for Euro 2028. And I think, to be honest with you, even though it's a home tournament, you should obviously have a lot of fans that would be guaranteed tickets. But I think people do underestimate how long it can take to build these caps up. You know, you're not talking a year or a couple of years. You are talking a number of years to get your caps up to those smaller allocations guaranteed. And even at some points, because some of them are that small, it is basically a closed shop as long as those fans keep going. Yeah, it's very competitive. Southgate or nail borders, to me, it's really close conversation. How do you mean, Captain Falcon? I don't understand that. Clarify before we finish. I don't know what you mean there. Gareth Southgate or nail borders? What do you mean? Am I reading that wrong? I think the next England squad though, and it's only 3 months away. I mean, I think it was like 100, nearly 200 days or something ridiculous since the last one. But it's going to be much shorter. I mean, it is June, but we're now basically in April, aren't we? So a couple of months, and then all of a sudden England will be back up again. And fingers crossed, he's going to have 10, 15 plus players more than what he's had to choose from previously. Go back to earlier, forget the under-21s because they've got the tournament this summer. I mean, we have got that to look forward to, haven't we? We have got that to look forward to. And if anyone watched my live stream, go back and watch it because it was class. I did a live stream of the final of when England won it the last time out, and it was the last minute penalty and all that, like James Trafford. You'll find it on my channel under live streams. Go back and watch it. We'll do some watch alongs for the 21s because that was quality. That was absolutely quality. I assume 20 plus should be enough for the Euros, considering most games will be at Wembley. Yeah, I'd hope so, mate. I'd hope so. Right, it's coming up to an hour, believe it or not. So I am going to leave it there. I had a very long day. So yeah, England have been back. It's been not underwhelming, not overwhelming, but I just think I'm going to finish with let's just err on that side of caution. Those away games, Serbia, Albania, I am a tiny bit worried about, but I do think England will get through. Hopefully there's plenty more good players to come back in for Tuchel as well. And Andorra on the 7th, and obviously the Senegal game as well. So it'd be great to see a lot of you at Forest, and hopefully it'll be a bit, spend a good day in Forest. Hopefully the weather will be nice. Get by the river. Should be a good international break, the next one. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't seen my latest video, please check it out. And if you haven't subscribed and you're watching this backwards, please hit the subscribe button so you can join in on the next live stream. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all on my next video.